Hey, welcome back, my amazing student. This is the Python mentor here, helping you guys master Python step by step. So we're gonna start this series on OOP, Object-Oriented Programming in Python. Now I'm gonna start with giving you guys the issue here, which is procedural programming, right? Procedural programming is not really an issue, but we only use it for small applications. I wanna show you why you want to use OOP versus procedural. Now in procedural programming, we create code in a series of steps from the top to bottom here. Now we're gonna keep always global variables available throughout the whole application. This is not a good idea for bigger applications. Yes, it's nice to have procedural programming in small applications when it's simple. But when your application starts getting bigger, you're gonna run into problems. I'm gonna show you some problems here and then we're gonna solve it with OOP, all right? So now here you can see that we have procedural code here. We have, how do we know it's procedural? Well, we have global scoped variables on top of the application, and you have functions. This is procedural code, all right? Now, what if we had a second user in this very small application? For example, right now we only have a bank account. Let's just imagine for a second, this is a bank account. We only have a bank account for Jose, right? And we have a balance. So we have the name variable here and we have the balance variable. If we have a second user, we will have to create another variable here, a second variable, just like this, right? And then since we have a second user, that user needs to have a balance. We need to create a balance for that user, okay? I want you to keep that in mind. What if we had 100 users? We will have to do this 100 different times. I mean, come on, this can get very messy. All right, and then we will have to pass this into here to do things with it all the time. We will have to keep passing, and every time we add a feature, we will have to pass it down to these functions individually, right? That really sucks. That's not really what we want in a bigger application, right? So I'm gonna show you here. And this is just a quick introduction into this. We're gonna jump into this step by step in the following lectures. So keep in mind that the link for the playlist is in the description, all right? So I'm gonna paste here this same code, all right, in a class, or should I say in OOP, in Object-Oriented Programming. Now, Object-Oriented Programming, okay, the idea with this is that we keep things enclosed in some type of blueprint. The blueprint is going to be this class, all right? So this class is gonna be, we're gonna give it a name. It's gonna be called, as an example here, bank account. And inside that bank account, inside that blueprint, that class, we're gonna have the methods, all right? These methods or functions, you can call them functions, but once we have them in a class, we call them methods. But this function, let's just call them functions here, just to simplify it for now, right? We have those functions inside that blueprint. So now that these functions belong to this bank account, all right? And what we can do with this is super cool because now we can have a bank account, right, for a user, and each user is gonna be able to deposit and withdraw money. You can see that we have this bank account, which is the class, the blueprint. We're passing in the user and the balance, and we can create a object from that user, for that user. So we have account number 1 in this case for Jose. But now if we wanted to create another account for another different user, we are able to with the same blueprint. All right, I want you to understand the power of this. Now you can pass in that second user, all right, information to that blueprint. And now from that blueprint, you can create another account. And you can do this indefinitely. You can keep doing this over and over again. So now this would be account number 3, 4, 5, whatever. But my point is that with object-oriented programming, all you have to do is create a blueprint, a class. And inside that class, you create these functions that belong to that specific user. In this case, Jose, Maria, whatever, all right? So now every time you want to add a feature, you just add it to the blueprint, to the class, right? You add a function to that or data, whatever you want. And then they will be available to your users, all right? and you can access them individually. Like you can access this method 1 here. Let's say this method is for withdrawal, right? So that we can say withdraw here as an example, right? So what am I doing here? Sorry about that. Withdraw, right? So this withdraw here as an example, but this is pseudocode. It doesn't work. Let me just do it actually down here, right? So if I go down here and I withdraw from account number 1, this is going to withdraw money from Jose. If I do the same thing here for account number 2, right? If I do this for account number 2, this is going to withdraw money for Maria. It has nothing to do with Jose, right? Now, in procedural, we had to keep everything global. So when I withdraw money, most of the time, right? If I withdraw money now, it's just going to withdraw for Jose here. I will have to be very specific here to withdraw money for Maria, right? I will have to create a different variable here with a different balance and all that stuff, and then pass it into these functions. We don't have to do that with OOP. We're gonna go and we're gonna dive deep into this, very deep into OOP, and we're gonna master it. And we're gonna go into every detail so that way you guys understand how this actually works. But this is the best idea possibly for any application that's even medium-sized application, all right? Using this type of encapsulation with your code. You get a blueprint. Inside a blueprint, you'll have functions, actions, and you'll have data, okay? For that specific instance, right? We call this instance. But anyway, we're gonna go and dive deep into it in the next following lecture. So make sure that you go into that list. That link is in the description of this video. Follow it, it's very good. And guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys on the next lecture. Take care.